run the street like I'm young Gotti. They really think that they can stop me, but they can't do me nothing. Baby, tell me what you want from me. Let me see ya. Run the street like I'm young Gotti. They really think that they can stop me, but they can't do me nothing. Baby, tell me what you want from me. Let me.
Cool guy, whatever. So, if all your friends are doing one thing, you're gonna want to be part of it, no matter how good your upbringing is. There's so much peer pressure on you.
I mean, so for example, if you say to your child, don't touch the sweet, most likely they're gonna want to do it because they just want to.
We should have learned how to pay mortgages and taxes and stuff like. We should have learned that stuff because now people get money, or even if they do go through the whole uni thing, they just don't know how to.
Same thing, you get put back into the same society.
Welcome to He Says, She Says. Today we're talking about gang life. Is it nature versus nurture? What's going on?
What do you guys think?
What do you guys think? What do you think entices these youths to want to be in a gang?
I think it's a bit of both.
When you say nature, what do you mean by nature?
Is it
Like
your environment or is it the way you've been brought up?
I think it's a mix of a lot of things actually. So it can be by parenting, it could be social media, influences your friends.
I disagree with the parenting one, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Really,
When you say
times
by
have changed.
parenting,
You know
what
why?
do you
Yeah,
mean?
because it's like, see this gang life here. It's kind of being glorified at the moment. Yeah, so it's like people have wonderful lives. These young boys have good lives, good parents, good house, good upbringing. But that's not cool. They want to be a driller. They want to be a roadman. They want to be this bad boy on the block.
Okay, so is that for every family?
Not for every family. Calm down. No, because it's not for every family. But obviously, I've never imagined a gangster parents with gangster kids. Yeah, be like us, be gangsters. I feel like most
really?
parents.
Have you not seen the social media? Like
Have you seen
dads, their kids, guns.
Have you guys seen that? I haven't seen that before.
I've definitely seen
I
it.
haven't seen that before. I've seen it. The way I see it, I feel like most parents bring up their child not to be a gangster. Of course.
You know what? That's the generation we've been born into.
Yeah.
Right? The generation that are now, their dads are like 30 and they're 15.
My word.
You get me? So their dads are still part of the road.
Yeah.
Like,
However,
Balenciagas, but not
their
food
dad
in
doesn't
the
want the
fridge.
child to follow the footsteps. I don't feel like
They
the
say
dad-
that. No, I don't want my son to be like me, but that's all you're showing your son, though. What do you expect him to look up to? You're his dad.
But when you say good family, what do you mean by a good family?
Just like, when I say good family, just the typical family everyone wants to have, both parents in the child's
nuclear
life.
family.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just the basic stuff, like.
Because that's the
That's
thing.
what
I
I'm saying.
think
Because
sometimes
a lot of people always say, "Oh yeah, he's like that because he's never had a father figure." But it's not like that anymore. I feel like that's played out. A lot of people.
No, that's
have
very
both-
much
No,
in.
No, it's not.
There's
That's
very
more
much
in
Calm down,
now.
guys. Please calm
A
down.
lot of guys are not
just
claiming
that.
kids,
Let me tell you
so
something.
More in,
the
bro.
A lot of
I started
parents-
again.
I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
not happening. I'm not saying that, but I want you to understand that there's so many kids that have both parents that are both working well and trying to make a better life for their child out, and the child still wants to be this bad boy. Do you know why? Because his best friend Ricky ain't got his dad in his life, and he's just a bad boy.
But do you
So
know
he
it
wants to
is?
be like Ricky.
Do you know it is, though?
So that's what it's about. It's about.
Yeah, do you know what it is though? It's more so culture as well. What's going on? They like the music,
Yeah.
and the people that are doing the music
They
that
watch
they
Paid in
like
Full.
are on it. The films that they watch, plus females mostly like that of their age as
No,
well.
it's
you get
true,
me?
it's true, it's
like
true.
like go to school and being a teenager, girls are gonna go for the quote unquote bad boy or the guy with status in the ends and stuff like that. So it's been like that from before, but right now it feels like that's it. If you're not that, then girls are not going for you, kind of thing, of that age anyway, until they grow up.
I also have it gone.
No, I was going to say, like, see, even when you're talking in regards to family unit, you need to talk into what context, because both parents might be there present, but it doesn't necessarily mean to say that they're actually present. Do you know what I mean?
agree.
So they're there, but they're not
They
involved
don't-
in
When I
their
was saying
children's
that, I was
lives.
saying-
They
I was-
don't do
When I was saying that
as
scenario,
much.
I'm saying they are present as well. So that was
Yeah.
the ideal, like a good upbringing.
Yeah.
But it's also not just parenting. I feel like that's a small thing to it. I feel like product of your environment as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say? A lot of people, like, I'm not trying to justify anyone doing in the gang. I don't think it's right. I think it's kind of stupid, if I'm honest with you. People are just young, they don't know what they're doing in it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then it gets too late for them to leave. But the environment you grow up around with, like, let's say you grow up on an estate, yeah, and everyone's getting their money, yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to be the next person that's going to want to get your money, do you know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like how the things around you,
They affect you.
Yeah,
or-
definitely.
See, I think it's to do partly with upbringing and like mainly to do with that, because even then, for example, like when you're talking in regards to how much has been kind of like glorified in social media and everything else. If you've been brought up with a certain mentality, then you're not necessarily going to look into that. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to look at it in that particular way because you're going to be thinking of it from a different point of view. So it's kind of like if you're taught by your parents to kind of, even subconsciously, not necessarily directly and in your face, but to idolize materialistic things. And obviously when you see those kind of things and it's being glorified, you're going to go down that same path. Whereas if you're comfortable, do you remember there was that clip of that young boy who went kind of viral and he's like, he was in the car and he was saying something about his friends were taking the mick out of him because he had on trainers that weren't name brand, and he's like, it doesn't make a difference. That guy there, I don't see him, because he's very self-assured even at a young age, I don't see him following this culture of joining a gang because of it being
Let me tell you why I disagree with what you're saying, Zara, because so many people, like I said, they have parents that are putting them up their child really well, but then when they leave the house, their parents don't know what they're doing. So that's why when a madness happens, they get stabbed. What did they say? Oh, he was a good boy. To the parents, he was a good boy to the parents.
Yeah, but that's just like.
Let me finish. The reason why is because, like I said, everyone wants to be like when you're in school, everyone wants to be like a cool kid, right? Everyone wants to be like, I'm the cool guy, whatever. So if all your friends are doing one thing, you're gonna want to be part of it, no matter how good your upbringing is. There's so much peer pressure on you at that young age. You just want to be like them, and everyone knows that. For example, everyone, I don't know about you guys, but when my parents brought us up like Christian and something for married, doesn't mean you're gonna follow that. Do you know what I mean? Outside your house, gonna be doing your thing, but the parents are not gonna know, right? It's like that. So it's not that the parents are upbringing your child correctly; they're doing it correctly, but kids listen to their friends more because they can relate to their friends more. Does that make sense?
No, I disagree.
That's the
Let me
truth.
say, but that's
Kids
just
listen
like-
to their friends more.
I
Kids
disagree
listen
with
to
that.
their friends more. Friends, guys
It
at young age.
It depends on your relationship with your parent. I know there's parents who have a brilliant communication with their child, and that child looks up to them like that's their idol. Do you get what I'm saying? It's all to do with how you communicate with your child. Like, what is your friend gonna learn from you?
So you get it's just
I get
the
what
power of
you guys
the
are trying to
influence,
say.
like the influence, like peer pressure. I'm trying to say, like friends. Like we've all done dumb things in school. You know what I'm trying to say? When we was in school, we always used to do dumb things. You not do dumb things in school, right?
Yeah.
Get yourself in trouble, and we know it's wrong, right? But we still do it. Why? Because we're just
It's a
influenced by our
thrill.
friends.
It's a thrill.
And it's the same with just gang stuff.
See,
You
but
get
even
the gang
those
stuff is
bad
like
things
getting
that
money.
you
It's
do.
about being a driller or whatever with that stuff there.
But that's
you
why I
want
feel.
to be part of it.
That's
'cause
why I feel.
you know you're right and wrong. You know it. You're
that's why-
conscious. You already know it's
that's
wrong.
where I
but you still
feel
want to do
that
it
the
'cause-
parenting, you need to look what your child is doing. But in that sense, you have to. You can't overshadow them. You can't be too controlling because
Cool.
that's when they want to rebel,
Yeah.
and that's when they want to try stuff that they shouldn't be involved with. And that's what. And if you actually look back, or if you see certain gang members, you'll actually notice that they're actually from a Christian background, you know, and they just rebelled.
But that's
But you know,
why I
think it's...
find you're
Go
gone.
on.
So I'm saying that's why it's like a oxymoron there, because the parents don't want to force them to do stuff or
Yeah.
not to do stuff. Like, you don't want to force them not to go out because they might live in a bad area, but then you don't want them not to have a life. So you're saying go out, but then all of their peers probably are involved in the gang stuff. You get me? So people of their age who they would hang around with if they go outside are involved in that. So what do? Do you say stay at home and then they're gonna rebel and probably end up in that life anyway, or do you?
I feel like as a parent, you should know who your friends hang around with. You should know their friends and.
But you can't
feel like-
control.
Yeah, you
You
can't.
can't control. That's just like telling a child no. If there's a sweet, you say don't touch the sweet. The child's gonna touch the sweet. They want to
always
know,
set
but then
boundaries.
yeah.
And
But
it's
I
hard.
think
It's
I
like
think-
go out, but don't
I
hang
think
around
it's
with them.
being realistic with your children within context. Do you know what I mean? So, for
Yeah.
example, if you say to your child, "Don't touch the sweet," most likely they're gonna want to do it because they just want to test their boundaries. They want to know what it's about. But if you say, "Do you know what?
Curious.
You can have the sweet, but you need to wait until after you eat because it's gonna ruin your appetite. Because it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that." When they have more information around
Yeah.
it takends to leave them more open to, I don't know, like interpreting it in their own way. They're less likely to be curious. It's like, for example, look at like sex. How many people or how many parents didn't necessarily have the talk with their kids, but then they go out and they do things at a younger age because there's a curiosity behind it. Because if it becomes a taboo, it's almost like you want to find out more information. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you say blatantly to your child, okay,
Don't do
this is because of this and this is because of that, and even though you might have sex at this age, there's a lot of emotions that come with it that you might not be prepared for, and blah 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 blah, and you break it down for them, they're not going to be as curious about it to want to go out and explore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, like, in going back to like gang life, statistically, more people that get into that kind of environment come from broken homes. Do you know what I mean? It's from single parents. It's from people who don't spend as much time with their children. It's
'cause
from
they're
crack
seeking
addicts.
family.
Like, yeah, from
So that's who they seek with
Yeah.
their boys. Their boys become their family. That's
What
why
But I
happens-
feel like the gangs now and everything is very much different from the gangs
back in the day.
back then.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think the gangs back then was more of like, we are brothers, we are
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
state, we are chilling together. It's not that we're a gang,
Yeah.
we're coming together as a community.
It was a
Nowadays,
second
gangs
family.
are more like, it's for fun, it's
Yeah.
it's cool.
They
It's,
set out to be a
yeah,
gang.
it's all
like,
cool.
let's sneaky
and
gang.
they want to do
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
things.
yeah.
They want to have knives. They want
Yeah.
to have guns.
Yeah.
But
Whereas,
it's because it's that.
But I think it's that fear. I think an element of it is that kind of family unit, but that's not the kind of foundation of it as it was before. But I think a lot of it is the fear and the respect of.
everyone just
Well,
wants to be
respect of the
respected
I feel
now.
like
Yeah.
I don't think, it's just lost its touch.
it's because the wrong things are being glorified, and it goes back to
Oh, yeah.
It goes back to
glorification,
music,
it's
to be honest. I blame all of
music.
these
Obviously music,
all these
of course.
artists and stuff. They're not
But,
doing it. They're not doing the kids justice.
It's like you don't see no one talk about go uni, and you don't see people
It's
getting
not cool.
praised,
It's not
set up
cool.
your own business,
It's not
whatever.
cool.
But all these gangsters are getting praised too much,
Yeah.
and then the young people, like I remember one time I was in Hackney actually, and then my boy went to get like a draw or whatever, So I went to some estate. If you saw the boy that gave us the draw, he was like 13. So it's like the oldest are telling the youngest like, just do whatever. Like I don't understand it, but they're glorifying it. It's like get money and just be a gangster and don't let no one violate you. No one should violate you regardless. But just the wrong thing's being glorified. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like that's what I think.
But I think
Stated,
especially if you're younger and, for example, if you come from a certain type of home where money is somewhat limited, those kind of things appeal. Do you know what I mean? If, for example, you want a new pair of trainers and you go to your mum and she's like, well, you're going to have to wait because I need to save the money, or I can't afford it, you'll get it for your birthday. If someone's presenting you a different option to be like, all right, well, cool, this is what you can do, and go, and then on top of that, it comes with a little bit of a status, as well as getting what it is that you want. Some people, they do it. A lot of, I think the generation now is very much based on like instant gratification.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I want
No one wants to
the
work
praise
hard.
now,
no one
I
wants to
want
work
this
hard
now.
for
Yeah,
their
they
stuff.
don't want to
It's
graft
everything now.
in the same
Yeah.
way.
It's everything
So
now.
it's easier to send someone out for you, or it's easier for you to go and do that rather than go and get a job. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, word.
But there's no longevity in it. There really isn't. There's
They
very
don't know
rare.
that until it's too late. That you're in jail, then you shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really,
even, like-
truly, like they, I don't know what they see, because there's no. If they're looking up to their elders, and their elders are still in the ends that they're in, and they still haven't got paper like that. So.
But they don't know
What,
that.
it's their
Yeah.
mentality. They wouldn't
They
know
don't
that.
know
We
that.
can say that, but they wouldn't know that.
But
But
what
when
their
you're
what their perception of money is you got good kicks on your feet, you look good head to toe, but you don't own anything in your ends. But you say you own the ends, you run the ends.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
because
You got to
it's-
think about it.
They,
That's
can't,
the
they don't
thing,
have
it's-
good the people that they look up to, they don't have good credit.
No
So they
good
can't buy a house. can't get a mortgage. all they're doing is showing money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But where's
Money
your
makes
account
the
But like I
world
said,
go
because,
round.
what's your
because
fridge
it's been
saying, bro?
glorified, I'm trying to say, even if you tell kids these things, what you just said, they don't care. They'll be like, oh, I don't care.
They just want
I don't need
interest.
to. I got
Yeah, I say, when you have
Instagram.
Instagram, social media,
Yeah.
and you're taking pictures, getting 1,000 likes. People like likes, you know.
Yeah, and that's what's
I don't
happening
really
now.
care about it, but people like likes a lot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got 1,000 likes. The red bottom showing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Just stuff like that. Yeah, that's being glorified. That's why I feel like the wrong thing is being glorified. There's so many like young black boys that are doing really good as well, and I feel like they're just not getting no coverage about it at all. You know what I'm trying to say? But then
they will be
you watch
still-
documentaries on the 4 about gangs. I've seen that so many times. I don't want to watch
Yeah.
it no more. The point is so
quite
much
boring
negative.
now.
Yeah, it's
Boring.
boring.
It's played out.
It's very
Yeah.
boring. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
Played out.
people are glorifying the wrong stuff. I feel like that's what I think of it. Really, yeah.
But those boys and guys that are doing good, we will see them 10 years on doing good.
Yeah.
These gangbangers and stuff,
They
10
in
years,
jail or dead.
they're riding 20.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's see you
They spend,
soon.
they spend more time in jail than they spend on the street.
Yeah, and then they
Or
come
in
out
life.
and it's the same thing. You get put back into the same society.
Live for
Yeah,
20
It's
years,
a
get 40
cycle.
years in prison.
It's a
It's rubbish.
cycle.
So that's the
Can,
thing.
can,
Like,
can you imagine like an ex-gang member like changing his ways. That's what, do you know what? That's what kind of, I guess, kind of swayed me to watch Power, because of Ghost, you know,
Trying to change
ex-gang
his way.
member, wanting to invest his money in a business, become legitimate, you know?
Things are pulling him back in. You get me?
Yeah,
But
but
there
those
are-
things can happen. A lot of
they
people
can happen.
But do you know
do
what? There
it.
are a lot of people who do that. Do you know what I mean?
There
But
are.
there are a lot of
There
people
are.
who come out, they set up their own businesses, because I think nowadays as well, there's not as much as it should be, but obviously you can do certain qualifications in there, you can gain some like education whilst you're inside, which is a positive thing. And there's a lot of organisations that help to work, not enough organisations in my eyes, that help to work with people who come out and help them kind of get back into society and everything else. But I think the difficulty in that is if you don't have that support system when you come out, it's very easy
There's
to
only one
fall
thing
back
you know.
in.
There's
Yeah,
only one
yeah.
thing you know.
Yeah,
you
but
go
it's
back
exactly.
into-
But I think it's the same thing again. It boils down to instant gratification or your family unit. And a lot of the times they don't realise that that same family unit isn't there to help to fully support you. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to be there to help you in terms of like you get arrested.
Yeah.
They're not going to help you out. They're not going to get bail for you. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that fake family that you're kind of seeking, and it's not actually beneficial to you.
Yeah.
Like,
It's mad because the support that people get when they're in prison and they come out, oh, my brother's fresh home, or blah blah blah. They big them up and that, or free my brother.
I hate when they
That.
say free my.
And the thing is,
no one's freeing them.
First of all,
yeah, they're gonna do their sentence.
First of all, that's the type of thing. Sometimes I don't agree with that because you're saying free someone that has actually done something.
Yeah.
First of all, so okay, free your brother. You like him, but you don't have to free him.
Man, don't you can stay. You can stay.
But second of all, you're giving him praise, you're posting his pictures, but then you've got a cousin that's doing really well, going uni and that, and blah blah, and you're not bigging him up for because he's doing
Yeah.
you're glorifying things that this
but
guy's
sometimes that's a complex, an inferiority
Inferiority
complex.
complex.
Because if, for example, you're around certain people who you feel like are excelling too much, and you feel as if you yourself can't achieve that, it's
You weak. You weak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a little
But you
bit
get
like
that a lot
that.
because
But then
because
that's,
when
that,
you're in
that's
it,
the
yeah,
aspect that I was saying in regards to like
Yeah.
raising your kids. If you raise children with a strong sense of self and who are very confident in who they are and who know themselves, they don't tend to fall to that pressure because they don't feel like they need validation from anybody else, or do you know what I mean?
and
Where
they've
it-
got it twisted up in their mind because if you're brought up in a certain environment, your aim should be I need to get out of this environment. Yeah. So that's the aim that they say. Yeah, man needs to get out of the hood, man needs to make dough and get out of the hood. But then as soon as somebody from your circle is doing well at something and quote unquote leaves the hood or does better for himself, you say,
Sold
he's
out,
snaked,
he's a
man, he's
snake.
sold out.
That's crazy.
But that's
some-
the aim. Your aim ain't to get
Right,
money and
yeah.
stay stagnant in the same position. You
But
got to
some
elevate.
people actually believe that doing certain things, they're actually gonna be able to get out, but then realize there's no actual, like, how many people do you know that have been on the road since the age of like
They don't get
15
that's
and
what
they're
I'm
now
saying.
30
They're
and
trapped.
40 years
Still
old
doing
and
the
they're
same
still
thing.
there.
That's why it's called trap.
That's why it's
At
called
that
trap.
I know.
It's
At
a
that
trap.
point, like, come to the realization, have an epiphany. You're not
Yeah.
good at what you do because you're still leave it alone. Do
Leave
you know
it.
what I mean? Like, it's stale. Go about your business.
You're here still.
Like,
you don't own
it's-
nothing. Don't own the house. You can't
Yeah,
pay bills.
you
Like
can't
you're
do
finished.
nothing. And this is where they go to the good girls. You know,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
where girls.
Are
start
you not the
to
good
get
girls? Are you
involved
not the good girls?
Come on.
There's a lot of females that now join.
Yeah, there's a
join this.
lot.
And it's like, I remember back when I
Trap
was
queens.
younger, there
They're
was
called
certain,
trap queens. Yeah.
yeah, there were certain girls, boy, I couldn't understand how they were
Yeah.
living a certain, living a certain.
Because before you
lifestyle.
used to
It
get
was-
girls
it's a
coming
lot.
to the block, but they weren't involved in it.
Yeah, they were just like, they were
yeah,
just there, like,
groupies,
oh, that
kind of
idea.
groupies,
Yeah.
like gang
No, but when
groupies.
like certain
Nowadays
parts,
they're real in it. Like,
yeah,
They're
they're in
real
it.
in it.
They go harder than some of
They're
the
female
guys
drill
out there.
rappers. Have you heard of female drill rappers before? Yeah, they're
that's yeah, I can imagine. it
female
happening.
rappers with a mask in their face. I don't get it, man.
No, there's a lot. Not
See,
to,
it's different generation.
yeah, no, but some of them they go crazy.
I think they need to bring back youth clubs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
all of
they
that.
do.
They took
I
them
can
away,
say I
yeah.
learned so much from my youth club. Like certain little things, like just bringing everyone together, cooking
Playing
and doing all these.
pool,
Do you know what I mean?
football,
Like doing
whatever,
it, like staying together, but now that's not that. Kids are just out riding
Out there
these
talking about-
Santander bikes.
Yeah.
Just, there's nothing out there.
Talking about the ops.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to be implementing like apprenticeships from young, like let's say secondary school.
Yeah.
You know, these things will kind of steer children away from the gang life, but also
Just
maybe
keep them occupied.
you know,
Yeah.
keep them occupied, but also they might learn to love what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so
They've also got to want to not go to the red light. That's
Yeah.
a big point.
Like, what is so
Because
attractive?
you can put so
Like-
much opportunities in front
That's
of
what I'm
someone.
trying to say. Yeah.
But
What's
if
the-
they
what's
want
the
to do
world- yeah.
something, they're gonna
But
do
what
it.
is-
regardless.
what is the-
I think
Well,
that's
that's the
the
world.
way
Where you guys,
I think
guys,
that's
I know
knowledge of
people. Yeah, I
different
know
things,
that. I know one guy. Yeah, he was meant to be a footballer. Yeah, he's way younger than me, and he was so talented at football. I ain't seen him for 3-4 years. Was he big chain on, jewelry? I was like, why putting that? Yeah, football's long. It's not about like you said. It's not about having opportunities in front of them. Some of them want to
They
live this
want
life.
what they want now.
Why?
And the
Because
thing-
it's been
it's
glorified.
quick, yeah,
Don't get it.
the thing with
Because
that-
it's been glorified.
he probably had the
That's
But
talent.
this
He
is
had
it,
the
it's not
talent to do it.
glorifying the
Yeah.
right thing, because
Yeah.
if, for example, you can present to a teenager or a child, look, this person has got 6 houses, or this person has got 7 cars. They might not look like they do, but this person
Yeah.
has X, Y, and Z, and they've achieved it through doing A, B, and C, and it's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with doing anything criminal or
You don't have
anything
to hide
like
your
that.
money on the
Do
bed.
you know what I
don't
mean?
have to hide in
Yeah.
the girls' yard. Like,
The shoebox,
Like,
the
it's-
yeah,
shoebox.
the
shoebox
shoebox.
down.
Like, if your money can fit in the shoebox, get another job, bro. Like, finish. Like, what's going on? It's like, it's mad. What is this? What's society doing so wrong that youths want to
Saying.
go to the cold roadside?
But that's what I'm
and
saying.
talk
Because it's
to
a
each other?
fast life.
it's not
fast
his
money.
boys,
But that's-
his boys
yeah.
could have been like seeing him shining, and thought,
Pull them.
Do you know what? Hey, bro, come chill with us, man. Like,
Yeah.
But it's
you know, and just
But the
joining
thing,
them.
see with your football,
the
the
reality,
They're not
the reality
friends,
thing.
they're
The reality,
frenemies.
there's a lot of people on ends that have gone through the football thing and they've had their opportunity and given up because they wanted the road life. But at the end of the day, whatever they've got on there, they could have had, but they just didn't have the discipline to go through the training. They just wanted instant money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm
It's a
saying-
lazy
But they would,
generation.
But then, do you know what?
but they
It's-
would have
it's
had
what you learn.
income. They would have had like weekly, monthly income. They would have had their houses set, their parents set, family set, as well as what they look like.
See,
but
but
they
then
just
this
chose
is
them
this
to go
is
with
knowledge
the bling
in
bling.
other aspects. Like I said, like if for example certain parents were to sit down and say to them, okay, well when you're older you need certain things about credit. Talk to them about interest rates. Talk to them about what it is that actually
Educate
money
them,
can
yeah.
Goes, yeah,
do
it goes,
for
it
you.
goes to the schools.
Do you know
man.
what I mean? Talk
It
about
are
building
coming
a
to
business.
us, they are coming
Yeah.
like that.
Like,
It
things
could be-
like that's the sort of
Definitely,
maths we
Yeah.
should have learned.
Yeah.
Like, we
It's
should
like
have learned
algebra,
how to. We should have learned
geometry
how
and all of that
to
nonsense.
pay mortgages and
Yeah.
taxes and stuff like. We should have learned that stuff because now people get money, or even if they do go through the whole uni thing, they just don't know how to
You get a job.
Yeah.
put their money
Yeah.
to the to the
They
right
don't know how
places.
to.
It
And
needs to
exactly.
come in a bit more early. Stop,
Because I know there's some
stop with
people.
sex education. That's boring.
Yeah, just, I feel we didn't even get that.
Do you know what I mean? Let's
Get
talk
me?
about
let's do
houses
business.
and-
Get me?
yeah.
Let's do this properly. Let's bring in people. You see how in America sometimes they bring in when they got career day.
Yeah.
They bring in certain people. Let's
That's
do
like
that.
once
Let's
a year.
bring in
I
Let's,
think- I
let's
feel
bring in
like-
people
personally, I
that
feel
will
like
influence the youth.
It's not the school thing. Obviously, you can blame the school. They play a part to it. Don't get me wrong.
Who are you blaming then?
If you let me speak, if you let me speak,
It's not the parent.
open your ears. Open your ears. I'm about to say.
I'm listening,
My
bro.
parents. It's not schools. It's us. Like it's us. It's us guys.
But
You know
these
what
are
I'm
factors around
These are factors.
it.
Don't get me wrong.
Factors
But
around
we are
it.
the
Big
main
factors.
factors.
But big factors.
you gotta
We are the
remember,
main. It's us. That's
The most
guys.
time when you're
It's
youth
what we're pointing
or
out.
a
Like I
teenager
said,
or whatever.
it's about what we're pointing out there. No one said.
Go on.
It's like you have a business there. You got your own jewelry. Yeah. No one knows that. I'm trying to say. Why does no one know that? But I could be a trap star. Everyone will know I'm a biggest trap star. Why is that? Because everyone glorifies the wrong stuff. It's us. You see the big trap stars. You see the Instagram pictures. Bare comments, bro.
Yeah.
Fresh. And make people be like, I want that. I like that because it makes you feel good, right?
I'm
yeah?
fine with it.
Exactly.
See, but then
The
that-
trap
No,
stars.
I don't agree with that because
That's the reality.
Yeah, but it doesn't last. But we all know that that doesn't last
It's us
forever.
guys.
It
It's all
doesn't
of
last
us.
No,
forever.
because
It's
at the
us
same
guys.
time,
in saying
at the same time,
stems
yeah.
from it's like not being secure within yourself. Do you know what I mean? I drive the shittest car in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel like I might need to actually get out and push it. That kind of bad, like
It's the
Flintstone kind of
Flintstones.
stuff. But I don't care. I really don't care. It gets me from A to B. Do you know what I mean? And it's those kind of things there when you actually start to think too much.
Yeah.
Not to say there's nothing wrong with having nice stuff. Do you know what I mean? But when you put so much more value on that,
Yeah.
and you feel like that defines who you are, That's where the problem is.
Yeah, but
I'm
hold on.
comfortable in
Look
myself.
at your
I don't
age
care
and
what you
say
think.
that to someone that's
Yeah.
15.
Yeah,
Do you understand
that's
that?
the generation
Look at your
that
age,
we
come
live
back
in.
someone
No,
that's
but
not
this is it.
understand
But
it.
then-
in the social media generation.
That's what I'm trying to
You
say.
got
So
generation-
I said it's
no,
art,
I get
it's
that.
media.
But then where does that
Social
self-assurance come from? That comes from when you're younger. Do you know what I mean? When you're a child
builds,
and
yeah.
you build, like, again, have you ever seen that video of that guy who's standing with his daughter in front of the mirror and he's saying to her,
Great.
I
Yeah.
am beautiful, and she repeats the stuff. That self-confidence and that
She will
self-worth
grow
and
up with
knowing who you are and being content with it, do you know what I mean? Despite everything else that's being rammed in your face, that in
You
itself
can't wait
is
till
gonna cause
they're
you.
like 20 something. It's too late. They're
Of
just
course,
isn't it?
that's
You get me?
already too
So having
late.
parents, youth clubs and schools,
Yeah,
will
that
help.
helps to
Do you know what I
build
mean?
that
It will
I've
help.
seen
Saying
stupidness
that,
like
it will help.
You
I've
turn
seen
that
people with I've seen stupidness people with Range Rovers and Ferraris but living in the mum's yard and it's on lease. Like they ain't got the money to buy
the
the
worst
car.
one is I
High
know someone
purchase or whatever.
who actually bought themselves a Range and then have money to put petrol in the car.
You know?
Like,
And it's just
what is
parked
this?
there, but you realise you have to pay for parking, so it's
That's what
getting
I'm saying
towed.
now.
It's like, it's mad.
Yeah,
It's the
so
world we live in,
basically
man.
it's just a little bit of everything.
It
is
looks
what
good
we're
on
saying.
Insta, it looks good on Snap, it's
Yeah.
gonna get me those
Yeah,
thousand
everyone's good for
likes.
the-
That's
for the
basically
likes.
what it is.
Hashtag
But
do
yeah.
it for the gram.
You
know what I
get-
mean?
but there's no helping. Well, some of these people there's no helping because even when they go jail, they got Snap and Insta, and they're just like posing up, and they're getting more likes than people doing well.
Yeah, but
Like, bro, you got
negative-
tuna sandwich in the background. Chill out.
Negativity is always going to be something that is more glorified,
That's
and
true.
more promoted.
That's definitely
People
true.
always wanna look at the bad stuff. They don't never
that's
wanna
true.
like you just have like even with like my Instagram, I ain't got 100. I haven't got
Yeah.
loads of followers, but just looking at. I could post something about he says, she says. It might get like 60 likes. I post a selfie and it's like 100, and it's
Do you-
like, but I don't
yeah,
understand.
yeah, do you
Why
know why you're
you
right?
not? Why
Do
you
you know
not
why you're right?
liking my movement?
You know
Why
why
you
you're
not
right?
liking what I'm
Because
trying to do?
all these people, they like rappers like Rick Ross and blah blah blah, and all these quote unquote gangster rappers and that, but they don't see that they're not living that life no more. They're talking about it. But
Some of them
watch
didn't even live it.
watch their business investments.
Some of
Right.
them
They're not
didn't
even
live
not
it.
looking at what they've done with themselves now. They're not looking at bro, he owns a franchise of chicken whatever, and he owns this company and that company. All they're looking at is the words that they're talking about, and they want to live that life, bro. Spectrum. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Not many people listen to Diddy.
Yeah. It's DB on the track again. Baby, tell me what
I think that we need to invest in our younger generation and our generation that's coming up. I think that we need to bring back youth clubs, we need to bring out apprenticeships, stuff that can keep the younger generation motivated and off of the streets, because there's nothing out there for them. So I feel like parents, schools, family and friends, everybody, we need to get behind this movement and really take kids out of gangs and stuff like that so they don't trickle into it. So we need to invest.
I think it's both nature and nurture. I think at home is a big influence. You should have a big influence on your children because at the end of the day, that's where they're coming to lay their heads and eating their dinner. So you need to have that influence and those talks with those kids, because at the end of the day, they spend a lot of time at school and with their peers. So don't let that overshadow what you do as a parent. Nurture these kids, because these kids are going to grow into what they become. Don't make them become gang members. Let's go.
I don't think it's necessarily one or the other one in terms of nature versus nurture, but I think as a community and as a family, we need to build and instill confidence within our children and the younger generation, like make them self-assured so they don't feel like they need to fall into peer pressure. Be honest with them as well, like be frank about the life and where it can lead you and the other means of getting to where they want to get to. Give them all the knowledge that you have and show them as much love as you can.
I feel that in today's society, we need to resolve this situation with regards to gang life. How we can do it? Incorporating a lot more youth centres, apprenticeships within schools, but most importantly, love within homes.